In 2033, a retired teacher in Ohio named Margaret is expecting a check for $2,400. That's what she planned on. That's what the Social Security Administration told her she'd receive. But if Congress does nothing before that date, her check doesn't arrive for $2,400. It arrives for $1,848. That's a cut of $552 every single month. Gone. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Now, here's the thing. That number isn't a guess. It's not a worst-case scenario cooked up by some think tank. It comes directly from the 2024 Trustees Report, published by the Social Security Administration itself. The exact cut is 23%, and Congress already knows. To understand why this is happening, you have to go back to 1935. Social Security wasn't designed as a savings account. It was designed as a pay-as-you-go system. The workers paying in today fund the retirees collecting today. Simple, clean, and it worked for decades because there were more workers than retirees. Then the baby boomers retired, 73 million of them, roughly, and the ratio that made the whole system work started to break. In 1960, there were 5.1 workers for every one retiree. Today, that number is 2.7, and it keeps falling. So what happened to the surplus? Because for years, Social Security actually collected more than it paid out. That surplus went into two trust funds. The Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund, which handles retirement and survivor benefits, and the Disability Insurance Trust Fund, which handles disability payments. The retirement fund is the one in trouble. During the good years, the government took that surplus and invested it in special issue treasury bonds. Not stocks, not real estate. Treasury bonds, guaranteed by the federal government. Right now, those two funds hold a combined balance of about $2,700 billion. That sounds like a lot. It isn't. Not for a program that pays out about $1,300 billion every single year. The math is brutal. The program is spending more than it collects in payroll taxes. The gap is being covered by drawing down the trust fund, and the trustees now project that the old age fund runs dry in 2033. When it does, the law, specifically Section 1341 of Title 42 of the United States Code, only allows the program to pay out what it collects in current payroll taxes. Nothing more. That's where the 23% cut comes from, not from a political decision, from the law itself. Here's a question that tells us a lot. Before today, had you ever seen a specific dollar figure attached to this cut? Drop your answer below. Because most people haven't, and that gap in awareness is part of the problem. When people hear the trust fund runs out, they imagine Social Security disappearing. That's wrong, and that misunderstanding actually works against you, because it makes people dismiss the threat entirely. The truth is more specific and more actionable than either extreme. Under current law, if Congress does nothing, benefits don't go to zero. They get cut to whatever payroll taxes can cover. In 2033, the trustees estimate that's about 77 cents on every promised dollar. So a retiree expecting $2,000 gets $1,540. A retiree expecting $3,000 gets $2,310. The cut is proportional, and it hits everyone receiving benefits at that moment, regardless of when they claimed. Now here's the angle that nobody talks about. The cut also hits people who are already collecting. If you retired at 62 and you're 80 years old in 2033, your check still gets cut by 23%. This isn't a problem just for people who haven't claimed yet. It's a problem for people already in the system. The Social Security Trustees Report doesn't just project the problem, it also quantifies what it would take to fix it. The actuarial shortfall, meaning the gap between what's owed and what's collected over the 75-year projection window, is 3.3% of taxable payroll. That's a specific number, and it translates directly into specific options. Option 1. Raise the payroll tax rate. Right now, workers pay 6.2% of their wages into Social Security, and employers match that, for a total of 12.4%. Closing the entire shortfall through tax increases alone would require raising the combined rate to about 15.6% immediately. That's a real number from the Congressional Budget Office. Whether that's the right move is a political question. The math is not. Option 2. Raise or eliminate the taxable wage cap. Right now, in 2024, Social Security payroll taxes only apply to the first $168,600 of wages. A worker earning $500,000 pays the same total Social Security tax as a worker earning $170,000. Eliminating the cap entirely would close roughly 70 to 80% of the projected shortfall on its own, according to estimates from the Social Security actuaries. Option 3. Cut benefits. This could mean raising the full retirement age, which is currently 67 for anyone born after 1960. It could mean changing the formula used to calculate your benefit. Or it could mean means testing, which is the idea of reducing benefits for higher income retirees. Every one of these options has passed through committee hearings in Congress. None has passed into law. If this is changing how you think about your retirement timeline, this is exactly the kind of mechanism we break down every week. Not for people who already have 7 figures saved, for people still building it. Subscribe, and this channel shows up every time we publish. This is the second angle most people completely miss. When you claim Social Security affects how exposed you are to the 23% scenario, here's how. If you claim early, at 62, your benefit is permanently reduced. Under current rules, claiming at 62 instead of 67 reduces your monthly benefit by about 30%. But you're collecting for more years. If the cut happens in 2033, an early claimer might already have 12 to 15 years of full, unreduced, pre-cut checks banked. A late claimer, someone who delays to 70 for the higher monthly amount, might collect for only a few years before the cut lands. This doesn't automatically make early claiming the right move. Delaying still produces a higher base, which means even after a 23% cut, the delayed benefit might still be larger in absolute dollars than the early benefit after the same cut. But the break-even analysis changes. If you were doing this math assuming full benefits forever, you need to redo it assuming a 23% reduction starting in 2033. A 60-year-old today claiming at 67 lands right in the window. A 55-year-old has more time before the cut, but they'll likely be collecting when it hits. A 45-year-old might see legislative changes before they claim. The exposure is different depending on where you sit, and pretending it's the same for everyone is how people make the wrong plan. And here's the part that actually determines whether you feel this cut or barely notice it. It has nothing to do with Social Security itself. The Social Security Administration itself publishes guidance that says the program is designed to replace about 40% of pre-retirement income for an average earner. 40%, not 80, not 60, 40. Most financial planners suggest you need somewhere between 70 and 90% of your pre-retirement income to maintain your standard of living. Social Security closes less than half that gap even when it's working perfectly. Now cut that 40% down to about 30% after the 23% reduction, and you see the actual exposure. If your retirement plan assumes Social Security would cover 40% and it covers 30%, that 10 percentage point gap has to come from somewhere. For someone spending $60,000 a year in retirement, that's $6,000 a year or $500 a month, that needs to come from personal savings, a pension, a part-time income, or some combination. The people who won't feel this cut are the ones who already treated Social Security as a bonus, not a foundation. The people who will feel it are the ones who built their retirement budget around the full projected benefit. So what do you actually do with this? First, run your own break-even analysis with the cut already priced in. Go to ssa.gov and pull your Social Security statement. It's free, and it shows your estimated benefit at 62, 67, and 70. Now multiply each number by 0.77. That's your estimated benefit if the 23% cut hits and Congress does nothing. Build your retirement income plan around that lower number, not the headline number. If the lower number still covers your needs, you're resilient. If it doesn't, you now know the exact gap you need to fill, in actual dollars, before you retire. Second, increase the independence of your retirement income from Social Security. The two most tax-efficient ways to do that in the US. right now are a Roth IRA and maxing your 401k. In 2024, you can contribute up to $7,000 to a Roth IRA if you're under 50, $8,000 if you're 50 or older. Your 401k limit is $23,000 or $30,500 with the catch-up contribution for people 50 and over. Every dollar you build in those accounts is a dollar that doesn't depend on Congress fixing anything. The goal isn't to predict what Congress will do. The goal is to make it irrelevant. Margaret in Ohio might get that $552 cut, or Congress might act before 2033. Nobody knows, but the people who build their plan around the lower number and hit their savings targets anyway don't need Congress to get this right. They already did. Speaking of building a plan that doesn't depend on one source of income, the next video covers exactly how the 401k matching formula actually works, and the one mistake that costs people tens of thousands of dollars in free employer money. It's already on the channel. One more thing before you go. What percentage of your retirement income are you planning to pull from Social Security? Be honest, that number tells you exactly how much this affects you. Leave it below.